Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks. It's Hal Coleman here with yet another episode of PestControlMarketing.live, live streaming internet TV show devoted to one purpose and one purpose only, and that is helping you get more new customers, make more sales, grow your business, and be more successful. I'm here today with my sidekick, the effervescent, the bubbly, the unpredictable, the ball of energy, the legend himself, Mr. Online Mike Stewart. How you doing, Mike?
I am so excited. You know, you had a dream years ago. You said, you know, I want me and you to be able to do, and you called it Mr. Offline and Mr. Online. And so, you know what? There it is, Hal. We're Mr. Offline and Mr. Online. And people listening to the podcast in the future, I'm showing a picture. That's why you got to go to pestcontrolmarketing.live to watch these videos. But you know, we're doing what's called content marketing here. We're creating content that helps PCOs and WCOs all over the world. And we love it because we get to go live. You were just saying right before we started the show that you get excited about this every time. And I do too, because this is cutting edge technology. We're in two parts of the world. We could be anywhere in the world, and we can create content to help our market. So what do you want to talk about? You know, just like in the podcast days, which this is our podcast as well. I have no idea what you want to talk about. So we're kind of got that model down, don't we?
We do. You know, we've been shooting the bull together for a little over 40 years. We were doing jingles back 40 years ago, writing jingles, and some of the ones we wrote for automobile dealerships and banks and furniture stores, we wrote them, and then we had a big laugh over them, and we said, but there's no way we can send them that jingle. So we always have fun when we get together. I'll say that. Hey, listen, what I'd like to do is before we really get started, I want to invite people to go to Pest Control, to howtogrowapestcontrolbusiness.com and download my book, howtogrowapestcontrolbusiness.com. It's over 100 proven ideas, tips, strategies, and techniques guaranteed to get you more customers. And you know what? You can get this book absolutely free right now just by going to howtogrowapestcontrolbusiness.com, click the link and download the book. I have a lot of people tell me, you know, Hal, I'm just using your book to grow my business. I'm going through that book and I'm applying the stuff and it's making my phone ring. So you can't beat the price. It's free. So go check out that book. You know, Mike, something that we did last time that I want us to continue to do is what I called stupid marketing blunders, and that we see people do that we have been guilty of. I have been guilty of too, but I want to share a stupid marketing blunder today that I have been guilty of. I know you've been guilty of it too, and it happens to everybody. I had a call from somebody taking me up on my 1 hour free consultation, and they left a message on my voicemail, but as happens a lot of times, they left the phone number and it was like, you know, hey, this is John with ABC Pest Control, and I want to take you up on your hour. So please give me a call at 456-622-2422. I said, okay. So I go back and listen to the phone number a couple of times. I do all of my coaching on a dedicated landline because people are paying me money to talk to them. I don't want to lose the call on my end. I want to be safe. So I have a dedicated landline for that. And so I'll get my wife, I say, can you understand this phone number? She says, no. So I will, I said, well, the guy left the name of his business. So I'll just go and I'll pull him up on the internet, look at his website and see if the phone number will be there. So I pulled it up. Sure enough, there was his company. There was his website. And so there was the phone number. So I call the phone number, right? And it says the number you have reached is no longer in service. Please check the number. And so I called it about 3 times. Said, man, this guy's phone number is not working. So I emailed the guy. His email was on. I emailed him. I said, call me. So he called me, and I said, listen, I tried to call you, went to your website and called the number on the website, and it says it's been disconnected. And the guy said, what? I said, yeah, I did. I called it. He said, what number did you call? And I told him the number, and he said, oh yeah. He said, I got a new phone. That's not my number anymore. He said, I changed to a new phone. I said, when did you do that? He said, about 6 months ago. 6 months ago? So for 6 months, his phone number on his website, his call to action, was a disconnected phone number. He said, I wondered why my calls were down. So folks, you got to check these things. I've gone to my websites and checked and clicked on links to see if they worked, and they didn't work for some reason. The link was broken. We've had product training that we've sold, and people stop buying and go, look, the links are broken. So you got to go check your phone numbers. You got to check your links. You got to check everything on a regular basis, because if one of them gets broken, and they do, computers just break them for some reason. So check that stuff. Make sure it's working at all times. That was the blunder I wanted to share with you today. Not checking your links and phone.
Well, that's a basic, especially in internet marketing, that you test and track is what we say. In other words, you want to make sure you test it. You want to make sure it works. You want to track. I want to quickly tell one of the blunders that you really got to be careful when it comes to the internet. I had a client years ago tell me, I said, well, what is it that you bought? And they said, well, we bought an internet package. And I said, well, what are you getting in that package? And they said, I don't really know. Let me show you what. And they showed me a sheet of paper. And basically what they got was a $10 a month hosting package, a WordPress website that could be built in a day. And they showed me that they were buying Google advertising, and the company that sent them the report said, look, you got 26,000 impressions. Now, let me tell you what, and we'll go into that in a little bit of detail in the second half of the show today, but an impression means your ad is shown. And they were thinking, 26,000, for the month, I got my money's worth. No, impressions are free. They had 26 clicks. So they had a website, they had some blogging, and basically whoever was doing this blogging, or meaning adding content to their website, was doing it, 2 or 3 times a month. So anyway, basically what I added up maybe was $100 a month to $200 a month worth of services. I said, so what are you paying for all of this? And how they were paying $6,000 a month and had a year's contract. So the blunder to me was not knowing what you're buying, not calling for references, not doing your research. Make sure that you understand what you're paying for, because what a blunder. $70,000 for something that should have cost maybe $1,000.
Wow.
And then I said, are you getting any business? And they said, well, that's why we're talking to you, because no, not really. I said, well, when do you want to start doing business? Well, we got another 3 months on this contract. I said, you got another $18,000 before you can get out of this contract. So think twice before you sign a long-term contract at a high ticket. That's the blunder. So anyway, my gosh, time flies when we do this show. It's time for a sponsor, and then we're going to come back and talk about Internet Marketing 101 and some of the basic things that you really need to know. Anything we do before we go to a commercial break here?
Now, you're going to talk about Internet Marketing 101, or am I going to talk about Internet Marketing?
You're going to help me, because you are a perfect person to bounce off of, because you will come up with some internet blunders that inspire me.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I'm more afraid of technology than I am of a rattlesnake in the bed with me. But I do it.
All right, here's a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Hey folks, it's Hal here, and I want to tell you about my personal coaching program designed specifically for PCOs and WCOs who want to grow their businesses faster, easier, and build more value and wealth for your future retirement. To find out more, simply give me a call at 770-993-0004, and I'll treat you to a free 1-hour coaching session so you can see for yourself what I do and how I can help you. There's no obligation and no strings attached.
Google Pest Control, marketer, grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
And we're back.
I still wish you had gotten an actor, somebody, George Clooney, somebody to play me in the commercial,
Well, that'll be a project that you can work on. And if you want to spend your money on that, you go for it.
You don't think they'd do it for like a free termite treatment or a free website review?
Oh, George Clooney is, he's going to be calling you today to get that free treatment.
Good. Let me make sure my phone's turned on here.
Well, all right. That's a good thing. Anyway, we got folks here. So in this segment, we're going to talk about, basically the basis of what your internet presence should be. And it really boils down to two words, Hal. Are people finding you? Being found. That's a phrase, not a word. Being found. But here's where a lot of people drop the ball, and you find this every day in your coaching and in your review. And when you start working with folks, what do people find if they find you?
Oh, yes.
And so you've really got to look at both sides of the equation. You got to make sure that you're found for the words that bring you money. And in fact, I'm going to, even though in the podcast you can't see this, but you can visualize this in your mind. I'm going to bring up Google here, and I'm going to bring my mouse over here to where I can type in it a little bit and tell you what I'm typing. You gotta go to Google, because that's what we call in internet marketing the 800-pound gorilla. I mean, there's Bing, there's Yahoo, and they're very important. There's social media, Facebook, YouTube. All of those places are places where people find you, and you need to be there. My mentor, Gary Vaynerchuk, says you need to be everywhere. But Google is the most important one. That's the one people search on cell phones. More people, about 96% of the searches in Google are done for local businesses on cell phones. But these are the two words that you really need to test. Pest control. And people type this more than anything. Pest control near me. There you go. And what comes up where you are, it doesn't matter where I am. See, I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. And one of the things that there was a report recently about, you've heard this word SEO, search engine optimization. Well, Google doesn't like giving away free clicks. They're in the business of selling clicks, or selling people coming to your website, or selling advertising. Now, you can see here, if you're watching this, and of course, for those of you listening on the podcast, Google keeps pushing down the SEO results lower and lower on the page. Hence why there are articles out there talking about organic or free clicks or search engine optimization is dying. In fact, one of my mentors said the only way to get found is two ways: paid advertising or content marketing. Hence why you and I are doing the live show here. This is all about content marketing. It's about going live, repurposing the content, and archiving it on the internet, because we get found for phrases on the internet that brings leads to our business. But now I'm looking at Google here. Google just came up with a new type of advertising for service businesses called Google Guaranteed. And what Google Guaranteed does is they verify if you're a real business. They verify if you're legit. It's a verification. It's a vetting process, if you will. And if you can see here, Hal, you can see these three ads at the top push everything else down the page. But that's the new Google guaranteed advertising opportunity. And is it working? I have a client, Fred Talley, your client, Hal, and he said he's getting some business from this. So it's relatively inexpensive, but basically what it is, it's not even an ad. It's the name of your business, your phone number, and they put it at the top of the page there. Then under Google Guaranteed is the old tried and true Google advertising called Google Ad. It used to be called Google AdWords. It's now just called Google Ads. And you can see that there can be up to 4 ads at 4 of your competitors. You just need to see where you position on Pest Control or Exterminator Near Me. Then pushing the page even further down is what's called, some people used to call it the 6-pack or the 3-pack, but it is the Google My Business listings. And how do you rank in the Google My Business listings? You have to look. You have to see if you're there. Are you configured right? And one of the things that we teach about the Google My Business Maps listing is to make sure that you have, I recommend 500 plus reviews. How many times have you heard how somebody say that, people call me because of my reviews?
Oh, all the time. I know a lot of people just had a little heart flutter palpitation when you said 500 reviews.
Well, at least 100. Shoot for 100, and then when you get your first 100, go for 200. But Exterminator Near Me is how that's what you want to check. And then you want to check other ones. So you can see here, when I've run this search again for the sake of the podcasters, the Google Guaranteed is at the top. The Google AdWords is second. And then you can see, it's interesting. One of my clients up here in Nashville is in the top of the Google My Business for Exterminator, but not Pest Control. That means that there's got to be a lot of things worked on to make that happen. And then when you scroll way on down the page, you start seeing what's called the SEO searches, or they're called search engine optimized searches, or the free searches, or organic searches. And my problem with people who, that advertise that they can guarantee to get you at the top of Google for free, they're not mentioning the fact that Google keeps pushing you down lower to the page, lower and lower on the page. And I'll tell you what, if people don't find what they want here at the top of the page, you know what they do, Hal?
They click to the next one.
They go to the back button and they try something else. So that's why when you get into, and in fact, I'm going to show this right now. When people search other terms like Chattanooga termite swarm, see, if
I can interrupt you for 1 second there. They used to say several years ago, "Where do you bury a dead body so nobody can find it?" It was on the second page of Google, but now it's more below the fold.
Right below the fold. This is, organic SEO is about 50%. One article I read, 50% of what it was 10 years ago. And SEO experts that hear this, they're not going to like me saying this, but I'm just sharing the truth with you. Gary Vaynerchuk, some of my other mentors, we study marketers like Frank Kern. They don't bother with organic SEO. They say, buy and build the best lead generation ad you can build, and spend as little money on your ads. Make your ads work better. So anyway,
when you're saying a little bit of money, that doesn't mean $1,000 either.
No. I mean, the thing is one of the things that we're learning from Frank is you can test things for $5 a day. But one thing that's good about pest control, there's hundreds of words that people search. Like, for instance, here's Chattanooga termite swarm. And nobody's buying that term. However, you can see that our client, Eric Gardner, is #1 in the world for Chattanooga termite swarm. He is getting people to his websites, to his YouTube channel, to his content. That is evidence of content marketing for other lower competitive but money yielding phrases.
What this has done for Eric, though, which is not a good thing, by doing this, it has given Eric ulcers, because he's hiring more people. They're working long hours. They are just burning it up, tearing it up out there.
He told me the other day that he is slammed. And in fact, in this day and age, when a business, I know there's a lot of restaurants, bowling alleys, and movie theaters that like, and cruise ships that like to be slammed right now. And in this day and age, it breaks my heart. There's businesses that are suffering. But when it comes to pest control, there's no reason for you to be suffering. You've just got to learn to use the internet to be found. Now, what do they find when they click on these links in these search engines? That's called, in my world, conversion. And gorgeous websites, are just that. They look graphically beautiful. They have lots of good photography and icons and color and all those things and branding. I have no problem with that.
Waterfalls. People like to put waterfalls and seashores on there a lot.
Yeah. But here's what Hal and I have found that works for our clients. And, here's the guy that just said he's so busy that I hope he's not getting ulcers, Hal. But in fact, we need to have Eric on the show one day.
If I was slammed like he is, I would have ulcers.
Well, at any rate, you can see here that this is not the best looking website, but you know why we don't change it? Because it has his shock and awe guarantee that can be read on the phone. We have a video with his jingle. He has his content. He has a sales letter that Hal wrote that guarantees that he's going to take care of their problem or it's free.
Has his call to action at the top, his offer of free things. It has. These are what we call psychological response generators. We'll go over these in another episode, but these are the things that, the buying decision comes from the subconscious mind, and these are things that are proven to speak directly to the subconscious. So we call them psychological buying response triggers, because when people see it, it generates a buying response. So his website is chock full of those. People probably won't recognize a lot of them if they don't understand what they are, but that's a time for another. Well,
but that's the biggest part about internet marketing is that if there are no buying response triggers when people find you, and I don't want to pull up somebody that has spent thousands of dollars on a website that has this gorgeous website that they love and it's modern looking. In fact, that website I showed you of Eric's hasn't changed in about 6 or 7 years, and he doesn't want to touch it. You know why he doesn't want to touch it? Because it's working.
Because it's making him a lot of money.
Right. And I'm totally, I don't want any people who are design savvy to say that, that I'm all about making ugly websites. I'm all about making converting websites. I'm all about that. When you boil it down to, you better be found for the words that make you money, and you got to be found as many times as you can in your local market. And the only two ways that I focus on doing that, and we've had success with our clients, is paid advertising. And there's more places to buy good advertising. People don't advertise in YouTube. People don't advertise in Spotify. People don't advertise in Audio Go. People don't advertise in Instagram. People don't advertise videos in Facebook. I mean, there's more places to spend your money. But the big one is, like I said, Google, and that. So if you buy people to find you, and then they get to a website that has pretty waterfalls and a family I saw one where a family was having a picnic on their front yard, and I asked the client, I said, I don't know what you do. I don't know if you sell picnic supplies or your therapy for family therapy for make happy families. Well, can't you see that it's a bug-free yard? No, I can't.
No.
So the lesson here is get found and really make sure that you're being found. And if you're not, fix that, but fix what you find. And that's my internet 101. And of course, there's about 1,000 other things that you need to really pay attention to. And that'll be other shows in the future. But you know what, I swear this 30 minutes goes by. We need to see if there's any questions. I'm going to go look at the questions box here.
And while you're looking at the question box, I want to tell them about my free offer, because I practice what I preach, my call to action. I'd love to spend an hour with you talking about your business. and looking for low-hanging fruit that you can grab, even fruit that's already fallen that you can harvest. I find it in every business. And if you want to call me at 770-993-0004, we'll set up at 1 hour. I'll send you a brief questionnaire to fill out. It's about 14 questions, I think, about your business and your marketing, your advertising. And that way, when we spend our hour together, I don't have to spend it asking you all of those questions because I'll already have the answers to them. I will have already done my homework, and I'll be ready to show you some opportunities in your own business that you're probably not aware of. And guess what? It won't cost you 1 penny to spend that hour with me, and I'm not going to pressure you to buy anything, and there's no obligation. So give me a call if you'd like to spend an hour. I've never had anybody come off the call that said, boy, thank you so much. This was so helpful. That's what they all say. Never had anybody not say that. Thank you. This was so helpful to me. So give me a call.
That's great. So, at any rate, and I've got the same opportunity. Now, I'm looking at the questions. This is your opportunity in Facebook or YouTube or at our website, pestcontrolmarketing.live. You can scroll down below the video and type in a question. We've got people here live, so I know you could, if you got any particular questions. Otherwise, if you don't want to post a live question here in the show, I'm going to put up my number here. My main website is mikestewart.live. That's where you can learn a whole lot more about me and all the different things that I do in conjunction. And I do the same thing Hal does. If you want to spend an hour absolutely at no charge whatsoever, it's an opportunity for us to get to evaluate what's going on in your business, take a look at things. I've got what I call my 13 steps to an online presence and domination. And I give that absolutely free to anybody that reaches out and calls me at 770-826-3662. In fact, Hal, a gentleman from Raleigh called the other day that listens to the podcast. Got to call him after we get done with the show. This stuff is real, and we want to be there for you. So anyway, there's my phone number, 770-826-3662. MikeStewart.live is my website I'm promoting. If you haven't noticed, I'm loving what being live and streaming video and audio can do for a business. I don't care what your business is. Everybody can do what me and Hal are doing. It's just a matter of an internet connection and a webcam and a microphone, and you can start creating content that builds relationships.
Plus, it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. So I guess we've overwhelmed the audience this morning with so many good pieces of information. Maybe they don't have any questions. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Hal, is there anything else you want to end up this show with and kind of just surmise what we've gone over?
Well, I want to go back to the little segment you did on the pretty websites and the graphics. Two things I want to leave you with. Graphics are great. They're great response generators, providing they're pertinent graphics. You don't want to put a stock photo of somebody sitting on a blanket in the yard when you're trying to sell pest control. If you're going to put a picture of someone on your website, it needs to be a picture of you. You need to be the name and face of your company that people recognize, number one. And number two, Mike, do you know what has sold more products and services than any other thing on the face of the earth for generations?
What are you going to say? Something like testimonials?
Nope. Black ink on white paper.
Well, okay. I didn't know you were getting that physical on me.
Black ink on white paper.
There you go.
Write the compelling, powerful, dynamic, seductive, hypnotic, and irresistible offer and message to people, and then give them a further incentive on why they should call you today. That will generate tons more business for you in the future. Well, Hal, and with that, you got anything else?
Well, the main thing of it is in this day and age that's been so wild and crazy. I mean, it has been. I came into 2020 with a lot of optimism. of that this is going to be a great, unique year. And I'll have to say it has been a unique year.
It has been a unique year. But you know what? I've accomplished things that I would have never accomplished if I hadn't been trapped here at home for 4 months, basically, because I have, even with my music, I've accomplished things that have been on the back burner for 25 years. I have brought them to fruition. You and I have developed, we developed this show. We've developed things and projects that we never would have done had business just carried on as normal. So there's a silver lining behind everything, and that's it. There are a lot of people have accomplished. You need to be really busting your hump on your marketing right now, folks. If business is slow, crank up your marketing, because when things get back to some semblance of normal and we get this virus halfway under control, and business starts picking back up more and more, a lot of your competitors are going to be gone. So you can rise to the top and explode your business if you do a lot of marketing now, so that when things come back, it focuses all that much more traffic and all that many more phone calls directly to you instead of your competitors.
Yeah. Before we head out, Michael just asked me a question and asked us a question. Do you sell website templates? And the answer is kind of in a way. How has a format of verbiage that has been working for our PCOs? And so the content is going to be customized for the client, but it's kind of a template. But I use WordPress, and I have some new ways this year, just for the record and for the geeks out there. I use a theme called Socrates, which is a paid theme, which is a good marketing theme for WordPress, for those that know what WordPress is. And then I use a new plugin called Elementor. And I am really pleased with the combination of those two things. But once again, it's not the theme, it's not the template. It's not the template that is the magic. The magic is the message, the response triggers. And now we're getting some questions here, and I think this is a good question from a Facebook user. What's the best way to create general content? Doing what me and Hal are doing right now. Talking, transcribing, shooting videos for YouTube with your phone, going live. I mean,
Articles.
It's a whole lot easier to talk and talk about your passion and your expertise than it is to sit in front of a computer and start typing. So, one of the things that I do, and in fact, that's what got Hal excited. I mean, Hal was visionary. Hal said years ago, Mike, is there any way you and I can get side by side and do a TV show on the internet? And I said, well, there's this thing called Zoom, but man, Zoom is clunky, and it costs money, and I don't know. I don't think it's worth the aggravation, because all you can do with that at the time is be side by side. And so I kind of just didn't get excited about it until this year, because there's a technology that I've been doing at a website called .Live's Secrets that has made this a viable content marketing creation strategy. But being interviewed and interviewing other people and shooting videos and answering questions is the best way to create content. But my goodness, time is flying.
Just learn to use this thing as a marketing tool. And by the way, you can also make phone calls on it if you don't have anything else to do. But you can use this thing to grow your business simply by communicating, holding it up and creating a short 30-second video and hit a button and send it to somebody. Introductions, follow-ups, offers and deals, educational, entertaining, and everywhere you go and every time you see a bug, there's an opportunity to make another video right there.
Now we're getting questions. So that means people are getting it. Maybe they had to think it through for a minute. So we go a little over. So that's one of the few beautiful things about internet television. You're not like traditional television that at exactly 30 minutes, you got to end the show. This is a vague question. And I'll tell you something. In Facebook, there is a link in Facebook that allows you to show, but some people want to remain anonymous. If you don't click that link in Facebook, it won't show your face and your name, but that's okay. So you know who you are. You're still here. What is a good average cost per customer? I mean, are you saying what is the customer acquisition cost? This is the type of thing. That's why it's good to call mine and Hal's phone number. Because what is a good average cost? Well, the average cost for a website, average cost for an advertising campaign. We've got like Eric is spending about $1,500 a month.
Well, I think what he's talking about is just per customer. Back when you at the end of the year, if you see how many customers clicked on your site and called you, and then you tally up all that business and see how much you're paying for SEO and everything else, you divide it and say, well, it's costing me this much per customer. That's a hard one to figure sometimes. Now, if you're doing it from an ad, for instance, in a magazine, or in the old days, Yellow Pages, you could just see how many coupons were turned in and divide that by how much money you spent, and there's how much that per customer it cost you. But most people don't understand how valuable a customer is. Your average pest control customer is worth between $5,000 and $6,000 to you over a 10-year period. If you have a $75 quarterly customer, that's $3,000 in 10 years. And if you have a $200 a year termite renewal customer, that's $2,000 in 10 years. So right there, that's $5,000 worth of business. That doesn't include the initial cost of the termite treatment or any odd jobs or encapsulations or insulation or yellow jackets nests or anything. So a customer is quite valuable to you. And I think it was Dan Kennedy, you and I mentioned him a lot, probably the number one marketing coach on the planet for many years. He said something I've often thought about. He said, the purpose of advertising is not to make money, it's to get a customer. He said, after you get the customer, then you find ways to provide more things and make money. But a lot of people, when they do an ad and they say, well, it costs me $100 to get that customer, and I'm only going to make $300 this year, I didn't see that as very profitable. Well, I'm looking at it as it's extremely profitable, because you got a $5,000 or $6,000 customer for $100. I'd take that.
Yeah,
as many as I could.
It's lifetime value that you got to put in. Well, now that I have more clarity to your question, Facebook user, I'll give you the story of Eric again. I mean, here's Eric Gardner. We started working with him several years ago, and he called me and he said, I'm not going to name the company, but he was with a big, what's called SEM, search engine marketing company. There's lots of them out there. Don't want to name them because I don't want to be knocking the competition. I don't have to.
You don't want a riot or a march to occur on your street.
No, not at all. And so at any rate, he was paying $2,500 a month and really didn't know what he was getting. So let's do the math there. That's 25,000. That's 30,000? Is that right? 2,500 is about 30,000 a year. Is that correct? 10 is 25,000 and 2 is 5. So that's $30,000 a year. And he couldn't really tell me how, because one, he wasn't tracking it. The office wasn't tracking it. So to get a customer value, you got to do a lot of tracking. You got to really tracking. Yeah. So I said, Eric, get out of that contract and let's start small and see what works.
Test.
And so we started, I said, what are you willing to gamble to see what we can do? And he said, what do you recommend? I said, let's try $10 a day or $310 a month. Look, are you willing to gamble that to see if we got anything? Well, yeah. So the first month we did $310 a month, and he paid me a little administration fee. We got into other content marketing strategies. I produced podcasts for him. In other words, at first we just stuck our toe in the water and tested and saw what kind of results. That's kind of the Frank Kern method. Start low, make sure you got things that work, and then when you know it works, pour money into it. Now, the first year we did this, which was
the key. That's the key, is you got to put money into it afterwards.
Right.
That's where you make the money.
So when we knew we had something, we expanded. And but the thing that happened the first year, his business went up 20%, and he saved over $15,000 in advertising. Now, what did that make his customer value be? I don't know. That he has to know what the lifetime value of a customer is and how many new ones he got that year and how much did he totally spend. But I saved him $15,000. I helped him his business increased by 20% by doing the jingle, by starting the blog and podcast, by starting out at a $200 a month ad. And he said, well, hey, that's working. What can I do? And I said, well, you can create more ads. You can up your budget. Well, we're up to about $2,000 a month in advertising. But, I could pull up the email and show it to you where I tried to set up an appointment with him this week. And he said, I can't. I'm getting ulcers. I'm so no, he didn't say that. Yeah. He said, I'm slammed with business. And he's still paying less than he was paying the other company, because it's knowing and testing and tracking what you're paying for. And then when you get into the customer value, you have to think of the lifetime value of that customer, how long you keep them, divided by the amount of money you spent to get them. And that's going to tell you what that value is. And the way you do that is through dipping your toe in it, going very inexpensive at first, and just incrementally testing new things until you find the combination. When you find the combination of things that work, you leave them alone. You just let them work.
Yeah. Well, I've got you beat there. Eric was in my coaching program for 3 years, and I showed him a technique for his technicians to generate more referrals from their customer base. And that year they got $70,000 in new business that he said they would have never, ever gotten before. And it was all included in my coaching fee. So really, he didn't pay any extra for that. So I've got you beat.
Well, there you go. Well, the thing is this is what we're going to leave you with. It's not any one thing. It's lots and lots of little things.
Lots of little things.
And if you don't look under every pebble and under every rock, you may be leaving gold behind. And that's our job, is to help you at least know where to look and what to do when you do. And don't be throwing gold in the abyss and letting it just wither away to nothing. But you know what? We probably better get out of here. This show has run long today, but it was a good one, Hal. I loved it.
It was a good one, Mike. I enjoyed it as always. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Pest Control Marketing Live.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.